You've been listening to Ken Lain, the Mountain Gardener. Green thumbs learned while working in the Family Garden Center. Now welcome back to the Mountain Gardener.
And we are back in the studio with Lisa Waters-Lane. She comes each week with your garden questions. Just what are others talking about in the landscapes or in your neighborhood or in the community? And there's some things we can learn from that. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the gardens it has actually been surprisingly crazy, like busy at the garden center. Like people are in buying plants, putting trees in, making it all go. Oops, threw my pencil out. Turning my hat backwards so we can see myself on the camera.
Well, the weather has been beautiful. And it
has.
is a great time to be out there planting.
Yes. So it's probably the best time to be planting. So questions, what kind of things are people talking about, asking about, or actually shopping for in the garden center? What are you seeing?
So Kevin has a question. He put in a creeping thyme lawn, which has filled out nicely. Is looking good. It has bloomed. Seems like it's getting a little kind of leggy now. He wants to know, do you mow it back? And if so, is now the time to do it?
Yeah, so Kevin, so we've got a creeping thyme lawn as well. So that's a very good, strong, drought hardy, evergreen. I mow it like twice a year, and that is it. And just low care. So it's kind of, if you want a replacement for an actual grass lawn, which is high water, high care, high fertilizer, high everything, and then the javelina tear it up and rabbits come in and eat it. A thyme lawn's a good solution for that. So it gets about ankle high, kind of spreads out. Dogs can roll around in it. That they can actually, they come out and they smell herbally. It's kind of like they've been at the day spa or something. And then it takes the dog peeing, kind of doesn't spot very easily. So it's a good choice. So Kevin, I'm proud of you. Yes, another thyme lawn in there. Oh, when to mow it? So that is a question. So good question. Right now, I would say leave it alone. Let it go. So if you're to mow it now, it would grow back some, but it may not grow back enough. And then it goes into the slow mowing, slow growing stage where you kind of want it to look kind of full and sexy and just kind of just roll on me, play soccer on me, have the dogs roll over it without that mowed looks. It has this native-y, wild kind of just, I've been here all along look. You want that going into winter, not a manicured, perfect lawn. When it finally gets to looking beat up or whatever in the winter, so sometime, January is starting to look pretty rough. You might then take a mow it back. So, but I kind of leave it alone. And then next spring, usually the thyme lawns will start growing sometime in April, end of March, April. What I do, we will spread some manure, so barnyard manure over that, kind of straight, kind of to level things out. And then it just loves manure. And then we'll mow it back then, put the fertilizer on it or the manures on it. And then it'll start growing sometime whenever spring hits, it just takes off. And then it just looks fabulous. Probably the only two times you're mowing it, kind of midwinter and just right before it starts to grow. The rest of the time, you'll leave it alone and just enjoy it. So that's the beauty about thyme lawns. Usually you're starting that by plugs and then it just fills in. And I think we were watering hours. I just backed it off to once a week, I think, maybe once every 10 days. It's not very much. It's drought hardy.
Yeah, it looks fabulous right now.
Looks fabulous. Thank you, darling. Fabulous.
Fabulous. Okay, next question is from Lori. She says her aspen tree took quite a beating this summer. Quite a few leaves were scorched. She's seen some new leaf growth right now, but she wants to know, is there anything she should do for it this fall to help it through the winter and next spring?
Yeah, that's really good, Lori. So it's not just you. It's we had a hailstorm that came through. It wasn't just the heat. So everyone's blaming it on the heat back in, I don't know, July, a couple months ago. And that might have done a little bit of it, but really it's the wind. It's the monsoons. We get so much rain and some hail coming through. We're seeing quite a bit of leaf tatter or leaf tear or leaf spotting or leaf bruising. So I think it has more to do with that then it got hot for a couple of weeks, and that's what caused it. So I would say the best thing you can do right now, Lori, is fertilize. You need to fertilize everything in the yard. Aspens really, really like the 744 all-purpose plant food. If you're worried about it, so it's thus the question, I would say get two things for you. Get the all-purpose plant food, and secondly, at the same time, put down humic. Humic is Humic, humic acid. Humic acid will treat the roots of the plant, causing it to root better, stronger, and it will encourage more worms to come in there and be more active. It just activates the soil. And then the top growth is activated by the fertilizer. So it will encourage more top growth, more leaves. Now, don't it's going to turn color here pretty quick. So it's growing, and then it's going to turn like gold and drop.
Don't freak out.
Don't worry. It's normal. So it's going to go dormant by I don't know, before Thanksgiving. It'll be kind of dormant, but that's all I would do. Don't stress out about it. Those leaves that drop that were spotted, I would pick those up and just throw them away, just in case it's a leaf spot or something weird we can't hear in an email or a text. If it is a disease, birds will come in and just frolic in that leaf litter, then jump back on the new foliage next spring, and then it spreads. You just clean it up, mitigates all that one variable, gets rid of that. So
definitely
food and humic. That's really what you're going after. It's a good question, Lori.
Okay. Next question is from Alicia in Prescott. She says, my petunias and geraniums are looking a little puny right now. She would like to put in fresh color. What do you recommend for fall and winter?
Alicia, I love flower gardeners because they want color year round, and they want them to glow in the dark when possible. They want them to go all the time. So I'm the same way. We are flower growers. And so we're seeing some fading stuff, and we're pulling some things out. So thinning, and we're opening up the garden to receive some, to her question, maples. I mean, mums, chrysanthemums. Still back on.
You got maples on
I do. So Alicia, so what flowers can you do in the fall? There's a whole bunch of them. Snapdragons. Maybe you can help me out. Dusty Miller,
mums, pansies, violas.
Absolutely. Asters. Yeah, another one. There's a bunch. Heucheras. That's a good one. Nice perennial in containers or flower beds. So that's one, Alicia. Rip some things out that look bad. If they don't look good, they're not going to look good before frost. You kind of want to put things in that will look good through the frost. And those things are going to be what you were just talking about. The pansies, snapdragons, dusty millers, violas, mums. There's a whole bunch of them. Echinaceas, gaillardias, some things. So
there's even sedums. A lot of nice sedums.
Yeah, that's right. So do those things. Come see us. If you showed up at the garden center, you would be inspired. Kind of free up some space, add some new potting soil, and fresh up the soil, plug them right in, and they will take off with new growth.
Okay. I think we have time for one more question.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Roger's out in Chino. He says, my climbing roses barely bloomed this year. When do I prune climbing roses? And what can I add to make them bloom better?
So climbing roses, now these are fast growing, tall roses. They get 10, 12, 15 feet tall. They run down fences, up trellises. They're tremendous. And they love growing here in the mountains of Arizona. They love the bright sun and the dryness. They thrive. Now, it's going to be mainly, I think, not from pruning. It's mainly going to be from food. They are heavy feeders. They're kind of like grapes or these big, long, fast-growing vines, a trumpet vine. They take a lot of food to create that flower to it. So you want to fertilize roses right now. By the end of October, you want it like sometime this month, fertilize with the all-purpose plant food, the 744. Just do it now. Do it again next spring. And in the spring, I would change it up a little bit. We have a rose food with systemic that'll keep the thrip out of them. And so if you did those two things, and then going back to actual question, Roger, you prune roses in March. So, but I don't think it's just pruning. I think it's also food. So give it the food. In fact, for you, just because you've struggled, I would do the all-purpose plant food plus superphosphate.
a
018-0, that's all phosphorus. Do that.
Yeah.
Do that again in spring, and you will have more
Mhm.
flowers and you know what to do with.
That
It'll be
is true.
amazing. So great questions this week. Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back after this.
Prescott Blaze maple is the fastest local tree with brilliant red foliage.
Prescott Blaze maples grow 3 feet each year. That's fast.
Prescott Blaze maples are perfect for patios or any place a shade tree is needed.
We have a limited number of huge, instant Prescott Blaze maples, but the $249 size is exceptionally nice.
The maples are brighter in Prescott at Waters Garden Center.
Or shop online at top10trees.com.
You're listening to Ken Lain, aka the Mountain Gardener. Ken can be found throughout the week in Prescott at Waters Garden Center. Listen each week as he answers timely garden questions unique to mountain gardens.